going on, everybody? All right. Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom. Not quite sure what DC was trying to do here. I'm going to approach this from two different angles. And the reason why is because I started to try to pull myself away from being a critic to just being a person that's going to a theater and trying to enjoy a movie. So for that being said, I'm going to approach it from that perspective, but then I'm also going to be critical from a person that just simply loves DC and Aquaman. So gosh, this is going to be a weird video. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. Let's just get right into it. Here we go. All right, Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom, or just Aquaman 2, whatever. I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter because the DCEU that we knew is officially dead with the release of this movie. So there's really no point in talking about it other than if you want to go to a movie theater and have yourself a fun movie to watch and, just not take it too serious, then this is going to be the movie for you. Like I said in the beginning, I'm going to talk about this in two different ways. The first way is just from that perspective, somebody that just wants to get out of the house, watch a decent film for entertainment. That's this movie, okay? Now, as we start to think about movies and how we start reviewing them and giving our opinions on whether, what constitutes as a good movie, what constitutes as a horrible movie, I really, really implore other reviewers to do exactly what I'm doing now. Maybe not all the time, but keep your mentality when you're seeing these movies open, so that way you can be critical on both fronts, right? To me, it just serves and makes for a better connection, a better review, and then also you don't have to set up your audience for failure when they go to the theater and they expect something that you said was good and it just turns out to be complete shit. So that's just my take on that. But anyways, going back to the video, the movie, that's what this movie did. Okay, I think DC knew that it was on its last leg. It didn't take itself too serious. There was a lot of jokes. They totally love and thundered Aquaman 2. And when you see this movie, you're gonna understand what I'm talking about. Some of the jokes were funny, some of them didn't land. There was a lot of obnoxious stuff in there, but again, it was all for fun and entertainment. So from that perspective, if you're just going to go see a movie, or there's nothing that you haven't seen before, I mean, there's nothing in the theaters that you want to go see, but you just want to just get out. This is that movie. From that perspective, I'll give it an 8, right? Because it's not a terrible movie from that perspective. It really does hit the entertainment button a lot, and I think that's ultimately what they were gonna do. Like I said, they probably just said, you know what, fuck it, let's just have fun with this. And what I mean by they love and thundered Aquaman is they made him very silly in this movie. They turned a lot of what I loved from a cinematic perspective, from a story perspective, from a tone perspective. They flipped that upside down, gave it a complete 180, and made everything just all about fun. And that's what this movie was. It was fun. I'm not gonna take that away from it. I'm not gonna be that critical. So again, if you're looking to just get out of the house, maybe watch something, in theaters, this could be it. I wouldn't spend money on IMAX on it. I wouldn't spend money on RPX on it. I would just probably see it in a standard viewing thing, simply because it's really not important anymore. Yeah, I think that's about as much as I want to say about the positive from that perspective. Now, being a critical comic book fan and nerd, right? A lot of us are gonna hate this movie, and rightfully so, okay? But again, it probably wasn't for me. This movie probably wasn't for me. Just like the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that came out with Seth Rogen, that wasn't for me. I absolutely hated that movie. I thought it was trash. But again, from this perspective, right? It took a lot of the stuff, like I said earlier, that I loved about the first Aquaman, and they just kind of wiped it away. And I hated it. I hated this movie. I didn't think it was good from this perspective. It was not a, I don't know, it wasn't even a 2. It was probably a 1 out of a 10. The music was ass. The costume design was, the new costume design. I'm not talking about the old. I'm talking about like Black Manta's his little posse, like everybody that kind of follows Black Manta. Their costume design sucks. The graphics suffer horribly in some scenes, and they totally made this feel like a Star Wars / Pirates of the Caribbean / Journey to the Center of the Earth kind of movie. And when you see this movie, you're gonna pinpoint those aspects of those movies that are in this movie, and it sucks. It was horrible. I'm not gonna say don't go watch it. Go watch it. And again, I say this all the time. This is just my opinion. Yes, I'm reviewing this movie, but this is just my opinion. I implore you to go see this movie. If you don't want to see it, great, save yourself a couple of bucks. But if you want to go see it, have a good time, go see it, have a good time. But if you don't agree with me, let me know why you don't agree with me. If you do agree with me, let me know that too, because that's even better. But again, this movie was just not good. You can tell that they did a lot of reshoots. You can tell the graphics suffered. You can tell that the story suffered. The way they did my man Black Manta was pretty horrible. He's one of the best villains in DC. I'm not gonna say he's the villain, right? But he's a pretty damn good villain. I don't like what they did with him. And again, this is just the fanboy, the comic nerd in me. I just couldn't get behind this film and support it in saying that it was a good film from this perspective. I want to emphasize that, from this perspective, from the fanboy inside of me perspective. It just was not good. It was not. Kind of wish I got my 2 hours back of my life. And I think that like with the reshoots, and you stitch them together in this movie, it's obvious, because wasn't this, I'm not too sure, but I think this movie was supposed to come out like a couple of years ago or last year, but they couldn't feel, or they felt like they weren't going to be able to keep up with Avatar: The Way of Water. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It just wasn't good. It didn't hit at all. So, man, I went into this being open-minded and not being that fan nerd. But the more that they tore away from a lot of what was set, from Aquaman 1, it really, really irked me. And then that's when I started to see myself falling back into that fan nerd perspective and being like, man, this is complete ass. So don't go into this expecting anything. Like I said, if you're just gonna go see this movie from the mindset of, I just want to get out of the house, I just want to see a fun movie, because it is fun, go see this movie. It's great. But if you're not, and you want to see, the drastic changes and just hate on it like the rest of the world, go see this movie. Then, Patrick Wilson as Orm did a good job. Jason Momoa, obviously he did a great job. I don't like what they did with Black Manta. That's my biggest gripe. I mean, Jesus. They took what could have been a potentially great, storyline and arc, and just shit the bed with it by making him possessed by another, I don't know, like villain, king, or whatever the fuck you want to call him. I don't know. That just was just dumb to me. I know I'm kind of like, beating a dead horse at this point, because the world is gonna see Aquaman, and they're gonna give it its day of critique. And again, I'm not trying to say don't go see this movie. Go see the movie. develop your own opinion, and come back here, like I said, and let me know. But seriously, I thought I was, because of, I don't know if it's because of the reshoots, but I really thought I was watching either the Pirates of the Caribbean or Journey to the Center of the Earth or Star Wars. It was just not it, man. Gosh, and it sucks because I really wanted Jason Momoa to go out on a high note with this DCEU, but here we are. All right, guys. Sorry about the confusing video. I know I gave two perspectives, so take it for what you will. But ultimately, like I say, I implore you to develop your own opinion, because that's what really matters here. So, yeah, that's it for me, man. Hope everybody has a great day. Keep spreading that love, like I always say. And go see some movies. That's what we're here for. Talk movies and just celebrate, the bigness of theatrics. All right, guys. Have a good one. And we'll catch you again later.